That seemed particularly weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, is this it? No, this isn't it. This is Restream chat. Yeah, I don't know how to view the chat rooms here. Chat app?
Yeah, there's an app. So that's what I have downloaded. Is I use the chat. It's like a separate application. I tried to. There's one where you can put it as a docked window in OBS, but it doesn't always work amazingly well. So
I see.
What I'm using right now is just the separate windowed one. Anyways,
Gotcha.
Hello and welcome to anybody who is on the stream or who's watching this after the fact. As usual, we're just completely technically inept. It's great. Kidding. We're doing fine this time.
We're a technology company, Grover.
Are we? I thought we were like an audio hardware company.
Audio technology company.
Aren't yeah. Anyways, yes, we're a technology company, of course. How could I forget? Today we're going to be playing Little Nightmares 2. It just released, and it's a Bandai Namco game. So I think it's like it's kind of an indie 2D platformer-y puzzle solving game. Is that right, Jaren?
It looks like it. Yeah, I never played the first one.
Okay.
I believe it just released yesterday, and I think. I'm pretty sure they used our headphones on the stream. Not 100% sure, but they have in the past, and they're super cool. We like them over there, so I thought it might be a good idea to go ahead and stream this since it's a new release and all that stuff. But yeah, I think it's just like a platformer with I think there's a lot of symbolism. Probably it kind of reminds me of oh gosh, what was that game? Limbo. You remember Limbo?
Yes, I do remember Limbo. I don't think I ever finished it, but I did play it.
Yeah. So just, one of those things that has a lot of striking visuals and stuff. Well, we'll see, really. I don't know. I'll just watch you play it and make fun of you.
All right.
Yeah, although I'm watching it on Twitch, so there's a bit of a delay.
There's a little bit of a delay. I guess we could screen share in Skype, but that seems like it would be a lot of internet bandwidth. So.
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
Anyways, cool. Well, I'm going to get started then. I've got chat up, so welcome everyone. Also, hi, Chris Maurer. I know I've seen you a few times in the past, so thanks for joining us.
Death Metal Reset.
For whatever reason, the chat that I have, the restream, doesn't show me how many people are in chat. So.
Yes, I had to look up on the actual channels. So let's see.
I don't know why that is. It used to work fine, and then I had to put the server back in because it wasn't connecting. Whatever. Anyways. Well,
so far in Twitch, we just have the Restream bot. So it looks like mostly YouTube. It's like Limbo's newer sibling. Can't remember the name right now. Oh, yeah, I don't know. There's been a few. If it's like Limbo's one of those games, I think that like really sort of popularized the genre. And then you got a lot of like, I don't want to say clones, but a lot of people were like, oh, well, shoot, that's awesome. Let's do something in that same vein.
That was kind of the resurgence of the comeback, rather, of 2D platform games.
Yeah, definitely. All right, powered by. Now do you say that Wise or W-Wise?
I say Wise.
Yeah, I don't know what it's technically supposed to be. Is it supposed to be Wise?
I think it's supposed to be Wise.
Now why is it? So it looks like you got the game in a little window right now. The window's like in the upper left-hand corner of the stream. We got like 14 people. 14 people. Well, that's great. Oh, hello. Hello, Storied Titan.
Okay. Does it look correct now? It should look. I mean.
No, it looks like it might be an OBS thing. Like maybe you have the video feed like event tucked away in the left hand. Oh, there we go. There it is. It's
okay. It should be right. I just switched it. Is the audio good, or is it? It seems kind of loud.
That would be for one of our viewers to answer, I think. And I think our day is going all right. Storied Titan. How about yourself? And also, how does the audio sound?
There we go. I turned the audio down a little bit. It was real loud, at least on mine. Okay, that should be fine. No. Hey Gigabyte, hey Chaotic Canine Culture. Sorry, I know I need to get back to you. We'll do the thing one of these days. We'll get there. All right. Next week probably works well. Audio's good. Awesome. Good to hear. It's weird. Like I monitor it through OBS, and then sometimes it still comes out of this stream differently, just because we're running through so many different things and whatnot. Wow, this game is very dark. Let me turn up my screen brightness.
So Gigabyte, what's your problem? You say you have a problem. There we go. Well, look at you in a hallway. Hallway simulator. It's a dirty hallway. It's an Orbit S problem. I mean, say whatever you like, I suppose. Oh, look at that.
Call, sprint, flashlight, jump through attack, grab, crouch, slide. Okay.
Oh, you can move forward and back too?
Yeah, I didn't. Do you have to hold it? Yes, you do.
Yes, what's the problem, Gigabyte?
Interesting perspective. Oh, sweet. Thank you. Thank you, K9. Really appreciate it. Vertical component with 7.1 turned on and 3D turned off.
Figure out where the enemy is above me or lower than me. Well, okay. So, I mean, first of all, there is no like vertical speaker layout, you know. So, I mean, assuming. By the way, hopefully everybody can hear me. I just turned up the mic a little bit. But there's no vertical speaker routing, so there's not actually like a virtual speaker that's routed above your head or anything like that. So it technically all is a horizontal plane or whatever. And the verticality I think is going to be determined primarily by the sound design in game, right? Would you agree with that, Grover? Yeah.
Yeah, it's verticality. Height channels are always a little more complicated. I'm sure I probably missed something. I like crouch, L, G, crouch. Okay.
Let's see. Rex Cloud over 2 times. Last one had the same problem. The crinkling thin plastic knives. Oh, so the crinkling sound, what you're hearing is diaphragm flex, Gigabyte, and so that is a planar-magnetic driver thing. It's something which can occur generally not. I mean, it kind of depends what you're experiencing. If you apply pressure to the ear cups and you hear it, well, that should be expected because our speakers are actually made of film that's thinner than a human hair, and that film is what you're hearing essentially flexing with changes in internal pressure in the ear cup. So, if you're hearing it during regular use, like you're just listening to music or something and you're hearing crinkling, I mean, that's another story. So sometimes that problem can maybe get worse over time, depending on, a variety of conditions and also just sort of random chance. And so we have had, customers have that issue where the crinkling will occur during just sort of regular use without applying a pressure or anything like that. But can you be a little bit more specific, I guess, about when you're hearing the crinkling? And AP asks, Grover, what did you mean by the GX being forward thinking?
Oh, on the Resolve's channel, the headphones.com channel. So I think it's forward thinking in the sense that, like, for me, a lot of the future gaming spatial, audio things, of course, we have Mobius, and Mobius is very cool and works amazingly well for a lot. Bringing, like, the head tracking element, right, adds something because you get, I have no idea what to do here, because you get something that will also track the movement of your head in your room, right? But the GX, I think, is actually really great idea, because a lot of what's happening in game sound that I think is very innovative and forward thinking is just going to be done in the game or in the processing of the computer, right?
Sure. Well, that's certainly true, right? I mean, obviously with the new consoles, they're handling all the 3D audio processing internally, and I mean, there are other options for PC, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's Atmos already, but doesn't Windows have like a newer
Windows Sonic
3D?
and
Yeah.
DTX and things like that. So
Right.
so to me, right, and all those work with 2-channel headphones, right? So just a really good pair of 2-channel headphones is actually going to be an extremely powerful tool for getting great audio from your games. That's my take on it, at least. You know, some people might think that, you know, having it in the headset is the way to go. But for me personally, my favorite pair of gaming headphones would be just a really good pair of 2-channel headphones, and then having all the processing done in game. For me, what the Mobius really brings to that experience is that it allows the head tracking to kind of add to the realism of what's already in the game. The 7.1 surround is cool, but I think what's cooler is the head tracking, actually.
Sure. I mean, for me, I think those two things are connected, right? I mean, it
Yes.
wouldn't necessarily be a 5.1 or 7.1 listening experience if it didn't track your head.
You have to have the head tracking to do that. It's a I don't want to say it's a byproduct, but it's kind of like you have to do it that way to have
Yeah,
both.
well, absolutely, right? Because that's the whole thing, is that your brain, processes sound in a certain way, and in the real world, your head is constantly moving. That's the whole thing, right? It's never still. So when you put on the Mobius and you actually turn on the Audeze HQ app and you look at the gyroscope and accelerometer, the little readout, you'll see it's constantly moving, even if you think you're sitting perfectly still. So that's just, it's there strictly to make it sound more believable. But to your point, I guess, about the ideal situation being a nice pair of stereo headphones with all the processing done, in the game engine and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it really just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, the game designers, especially the sound designers, as they get more adept at working with this technology, I mean, they're going to have some specific choices that they've made, right, with their sound design in terms of, spatialization and making sure that everything is, exactly placed how they want it to be and sounds how they want it to sound. And so in that case, I think you'd probably, you'd maybe get better performance if you're utilizing, their sound design, right? Who knows?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing to consider too, right, is that the Mobius has basically HRTFs built in a sense, right? They're not true HRTFs, but there is an inaural arc and some head dimensions you can put in which emulate an HRTF. And the benefit of that is that it's also less fatiguing to listen to for long periods of time, right? So the spatial aspect of having surround sound, because headphones don't have crossfeed, like mechanical crossfeed, right? But they do, but recordings might potentially have crossfeed. And that basically adds a sort of crossfeed, which one is less fatiguing and two emulates real sound more. So having the spatialization in the headphones, again, it's not like a either or thing. I think just for me, the element of it being forward thinking is useful because a high quality set of 2-channel headphones will be a great, will still be a great thing, even once the processing has advanced to a certain point, right?
Sure, that's true.
Like,
that's
it'll
a good
always
point,
sound great, no matter what.
Right, yeah, like once, there may be a time where, Mobius just simply, you can't take advantage of all the 3D processing that it has on board without, doing so at the expense of maybe some of this more updated sort of processing that they put into the game engines themselves.
Right. And the Mobius will always be, I know this sounds silly to say, but like the Mobius is always going to be a little bit more expensive in the sense that, you have to have batteries and DSP chips and processing and all that kind of stuff built into the headphone, right? Whereas a 2-channel headphone can be relatively, I don't want to say less expensive, but you can put more of the cost towards making it just an exceptionally good pair of drivers, right?
Sure.
So I wouldn't say that, cost equation necessarily applies to us, but in something like the Penrose, for example, you can get really good game, like spatial audio from a console without necessarily needing to rely on spending an extra $100 to get a Mobius, right?
Well, and that's another big thing, right? Would be, just how much data it takes to push through multi-channel audio, right? And so doing that wirelessly is a huge pain. I mean, there are certain wireless formats down the line that are maybe in development that will make that more viable, but for now, not so much. So with Mobius, if you really want to get that full experience, you do have to be USB connected, and that can be restrictive, especially as you mentioned, if you're a console player. So yeah, I mean. GX and the same thing. I mean, it's an analog-based headphone, of course, so no wireless there, but all the same, it will work, on whatever system you want to run it with.
I suppose a GX in that sense, right? What I meant by forward thinking is that like, hey, we're gonna do like a no holds barred, really high end, 2-channel gaming headset, and that made a kind of statement about like, maybe it didn't make a statement, but it is kind of a statement about like where we think the place of like gaming audio and headphones in relationship to gaming audio is, right? Like a really, really high quality. Obviously, most gamers aren't necessarily going to buy a GX, but the ability to, if you wanted to have super high quality audio from such a simple device, proves again that, you know, you can't beat physics. If you have a really good sounding headset, it's going to be great. The features of the Mobius and things like that, I don't want to say they're extras, but they're the basis of it. It doesn't work without having just the really good drivers and Audeze, you know. Sound.
Right. Yeah, exactly. For sure. Yeah. I mean, the core of what makes it work is the Audeze drivers, most definitely. And you know, it's funny in terms of the amount of people even interested in GX. I mean, certainly, you know, the price point's going to make it not as interesting for a lot of people. But I met a surprising amount of people both at PAX East and at Guardian Con that really were interested in the GX. Because I mean, that's the other thing too, is there's a familiarity with stereo headphones, right? So most folks are coming from stereo headphones anyway. So I think it's easier to understand and to hear, you know, what that upgrade in sound quality is when you're dealing with something that's sort of in that same kind of idiom, as opposed to jumping over to something like Mobius, which is just a completely different, you know, technology in the first place, completely different spatialized listening experience. Should I buy the Audeze Penrose from your official website? Amazon screwed up. Your order didn't deliver. Amazon screwed up your order. Well, I mean, the first thing I would recommend, obviously, is follow up with Amazon and see what's going on. I assume, did you buy that from our official Amazon page, or was this a reseller there? Because that'll affect what you do. And if you have Amazon Prime, obviously, they're generally very good about, you know, providing refunds or whatever else it is. But without knowing more about the specific issue that you encountered and what happened, hard to really say. I mean, obviously, you know, buying direct from us is always great, but you know, Amazon's great too. So it really just depends on what caused the problem, I would say. Let's see. As far as fixing the crinkling problem, there's really nothing that can be done about it. So if it's, you say, I'm a little confused about what you said. Your brother bored you for a while, and then you released the headphones on the. I said, listen, maybe you set the headphones on the mouse pad or something like that. Yeah, it's basically if it bothers you a lot and you feel like it's something that you're hearing just through normal audio playback. Because keep in mind, again, you know, that if you apply pressure or anything like that, you should expect to hear that sound. But if this is just occurring when you're wearing the headphones, not touching them at all, just listening to stuff, then the best thing to do would be to, well, in our case for Audeze, it would be you write to support, and you know, they would replace the drivers for you or replace the headphone for you. I'm not 100% sure what HyperX's policy is, so you'd have to reach out to their support for that. But generally, we replace the headphones under those circumstances. If basically we get it in for testing under an RMA, we'd listen to it, and if we can reproduce the problem and say, yeah, that's outside of tolerance, we would let you know, and then we'd replace it. And then if we do check it out and say, oh, well, that's actually within tolerance, then that's a different conversation. But
I am so lost.
Well, you're in the woods, and I saw that there was a big old bag of meat that you had earlier, but I didn't get to see what happened with the big bag of body parts.
I have these shoes and I have this wooden block, and I need to do something with the shoes and the wooden block. I'm not sure what. I can't jump up on this right thing, so clearly there's some key to the, or maybe I can. Here we go. Just had to go more to the side.
So. So I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your the name here, so my apologies. But you're talking about the planar magnetic drivers and you know, their viability for first-person shooters. No, I mean, lots of things I could say here, but the drivers themselves are actually quite good for first-person shooters due to their transient response and ability to basically create separation in all the voices. So you should be hearing things fairly clearly. Now, you're saying that you're using the Mobius with 7.1 turned on and 3D turned off. The problem with that, honestly, I wouldn't really make 3D to 3D off. Mobius was 7.1 turned on and 3D turned on. Yeah, if you have 3D off, first of all, you're in stereo mode. So that's.
I just wanted to see what would happen. Also, hi, Manifold Kaizen. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here and glad you're
Oh,
enjoying
did you die?
I did. I just
Watch
wanted to see if the trap was.
Yeah,
well,
I'm gonna
I wanted
watch.
to see
I
what
think this is
happened.
where it happens. Are you jumping? And then you jump down? Oh wait, no, I must have missed it. I don't know. But yeah, so if you have 3D off, that means that you're in stereo mode. As far as I know, I don't. I'd have to test it. I'm on a Mobius right now, actually, but I don't have a way to test it. But yeah, I would actually say if you turn 3D on, like if you don't want the head tracking, turn it to 3D on, because then you're going to still get the multi-channel audio and you're still going to get the spatialization component. It's just that it's not going to, track your head, obviously. But with 3D off, everything gets shrunk down. So you're basically at that point just listening to a regular pair of stereo headphones. And I don't know, if that's the reason why you're experiencing an issue or what. But again, in terms of positional accuracy, there really isn't going to be a better type of speaker technology for that purpose. So again, I maybe play with the settings on Mobius a little bit and see if that helps.
One of the other interesting things too, and this is a little bit more minutia, but planar wavefronts hit the ear differently than dynamic point source wavefronts, and because they're essentially wider, right? It's more like a wall of sound than a sort of narrow point source of sound. Your perception of soundstage is generally going to be wider and more spacious. So, and then the very low distortion, of course, helps as well with that too.
Let's see. Hypothetically, how would phasers change the sound on the GX? So phasers are waveguides. Essentially what they're doing is they're deferring wave diffraction further away from the diaphragm, and it's just one more. Oh dear. Wait, I'm going to watch. But yeah, so basically imagine that the diaphragm is moving, right? This is creating the sound. So you got the diaphragm vibrating, and that's creating a sound wave that's stemming from... Oh yeah, I see it. There it goes. The log just right over you there. Right over your bag head. So, anywho, if you have, different frequencies maybe resonating in different parts of the diaphragm, and those are all creating waves, and those are intersecting closer to the diaphragm. So in terms of what that does sonically, it kind of a subjective way to describe it. For me, lack of phasers gives our headphones a bit warmer, maybe a little bit of a... it's been described as more lively. I think to my ear, it's maybe a little bit rougher, still highly detailed, still super clear, but it's just a little bit more of a livelier type of a presentation. As soon as you start introducing phasers to that, it kind of rounds things out a little bit. So it makes things a little bit tighter, reduces maybe some of that distortion as well. So the diffraction is occurring further away from the diaphragm. So it's, again, just sort of clearing things up a little bit. And the best way I've really thought of to describe the phaser versus non-phaser sound would be phaser is kind of a more rounded out, tighter sound, but maybe at the expense of some of the liveliness that you get with the non-phaser design.
Yeah, the phasers are a little fuzzier to my ear.
Yeah, the phaser. You're saying phasers are fuzzier?
Yeah, like a little. The soundstage is a little bit less. The image specificity isn't quite as tight. They're a little fuzzier.
With
sounding.
phasers,
more diffuse sounding, maybe is a better technical term.
Interesting. Yeah, I would describe non-phasers as actually fuzzier to my ear. So
yeah, that's what I. Sorry, that's what I
meant.
That's non-phasers are.
Okay.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Face first into the mud.
I mean, got a bag over your head. You're fine.
I like the noise it made. It was very squelchy. Grab the rope. Grab it. There we go. Okay. All that works.
Wow, nice job. I just saw you fall.
Did you hear the?
I didn't hear it. Fortunately,
noise.
I'm not hearing your audio just because I don't have like audio from the stream on, because otherwise it would be feeding back and all that stuff. But I'm enjoying watching you try.
But yeah, the phasers do seem to make things a bit tighter. I like it for mixing stuff like LCDX. Great studio workhorse headphone, obviously.
Right.
Something like the GX. I actually like the sort of more diffuse soundstage. I think I don't know. It sounds it sounds pleasing in a certain way. There's certainly people who like the sort of phaser sound for certain reasons, non-phaser sound for certain reasons.
Oh, sure. I mean, so the original LCD2s, like the first headphone that we really released in a big way, that didn't have any phasers on it, and so there was a long time where people would email us saying like, "Hey, do you have any of?" It's funny, but our headphones have a bit of a cult following among audiophiles, especially, and so there was one point where people were basically keeping track of which model numbers represented which driver revision, and so we'd get people asking for specific versions of the LCD2 that were pre-phaser because they just really preferred that sound. Simon, why do you keep hearing a ps when you play music on the Penrose? That's a good question. Is it in the left ear only, or is it in both ears? And is it during the entire time? Is it only at certain volume levels? One thing that we have heard from some customers, and we're not really sure what's going on, but a few people have reported sort of a hissing sound or a whooshing sound at low volume levels. So only in the left ear, though. The amplifier on board Penrose does have some white noise to it, but you shouldn't really hear any of that unless you turn the volume all the way up on the headphone. And even then, once music starts to play, I would expect it to drown that out. So again, it kind of depends. Unfortunately, Simon, I'm sorry I don't have a more clear answer for you. It really just depends on some more specific information. But yeah, if you can get me maybe a little bit more information about the conditions in which you're hearing that, like what's your volume setting at on the headphone? Is it in both ears? Is it all the time? Is it only when things are quiet? So that sort of thing. You'll notice too if you like change a setting, let's say on the headphone, or anytime you get an audio cue that plays, you'll hear some white noise, and that's fine because there's I'm not 100% sure how it's working, but essentially most of the time all that white noise is filtered out. But when the audio cue plays, it does that.
That was not nearly as gruesome as I was expecting it to be.
Oh, it's a bear trap?
Yeah, I just wanted to see what happened. I thought this was poop, but I think it's insides.
I think it's probably insides too. Yeah, it's not super gruesome too.
Chaotic K9, to answer your question about the iSeries stuff, I actually really like. I have a pair of i4s that I use all the time. I know Chris Barron's really likes them too.
DAW. Yeah.
So I dig them. I am not super familiar with the LXs. We just had that sale on them, so that was actually the first time I was doing some of the product photography. That was the first time I had really. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so Simon, so Simon, both ears mostly when you play, when the song starts. So again, it's going to depend, like what song, if you give me a specific song, maybe. So let's say you're listening to live music. It could be that you're hearing actual mic noise from the recording that maybe you're not noticing on other headphones, just because, again, our headphones do a bit of a better job with detail retrieval. But again, mostly when the song starts, that doesn't sound like something that's, again, not an issue that we've really heard. So that to me sounds like maybe you're hearing something in the recording itself. Is this every single song you play, regardless of genre? It's just all over the place every time? Let's see when the song starts.
Nope, that's not what I want.
And also, do you have the volume on your headphones turned all the way up? And then we got, who else? Well, he's answering that. Darren says you got the LC2s a few weeks ago. Love them so far. Heard they really shine with EQ. Reveal plugin is a great way to go, just because, we did all those measurements. So the reference curves and all that stuff, that they're ours. We are very meticulous about our measurements, so it would definitely be the way to go. And you can still use all of those presets for free. As far as whether or not you need a DAW, you don't, but you do need a player that is compatible with either AU, VST, or AAX plugins. So I think JRiver is compatible with those plugins, so you can use Reveal with that. Are there any other players, Grover, that you know of that can run audio plugins like that?
Audirvana might do it. I don't remember if they support. I think they support VST now. It's a little bit clunky, but I think Audirvana will do it. I don't love Foobar, but Foobar will do it. It's an archaic platform, and it's kind of a clunky program, but it will do it. Rune actually has the presets built in, so that's a good choice. If I am in a situation where I don't have... I think a lot of people I know use APO equalizer. I've never used it. If I'm in a situation where I haven't got that, I'll use the equalizer in my interface, but I try to generally use the Reveal one because it seems like it's pretty tightly tweaked. But yeah, Those I would say are all the ones that I'm familiar with.
Oh yeah. Steven says he uses
Yeah, Audirvana. Yeah, I haven't used Audirvana in a while, but I remember it being compatible. So.
And then we had somebody asking, he's mentioning with the LX sale. So the LX is, and we, as far as I know, we're not planning to make any more of those. So those were very much limited edition, and yeah, they sold out in less than an hour. Unfortunately, I mean, obviously we're always happy when stuff sells out, but yeah, I think I mentioned this in the last stream, but anytime we do a sale, things tend to sell out really quickly, and it depends on what the sale is for, but. We usually do B stock sales in November for Black Friday, and so that's sort of a random assortment of LCD headphones and other things that we'll have. And if we have any B stock LCD headphones on sale, they will sell out very, very quickly. In this case, iSign LX, I mean $59, like there was just no way those were going to sit around for very long, because even if you already own an Audeze headphone, maybe even you already own an iSign 10 or a 20 or something like that, it's for $59 for a planar headphone, that's absolutely unheard of, especially for an Audeze one. So, yeah, people snatched those up really, really fast. There was a couple hundred of them actually that we had, and they were just gone pretty quick. So, we will do other promotions, of course. As far as the LXs, though, I don't think so. Obviously, I can't see the future, but as far as I know, those won't be around again. At least not those colors and stuff.
Yeah, I know Sound Source will work on Mac. And Chaotic Canine, I use the i4s. I love them. They're actually one of my favorite headphones that we make, personally. So
the i4 i3 to use. The MX4. I was looking for the i4 i3 to use when the MX4 gets too heavy during mixing. For some reason, I read that too heavy during drinking. I don't know why I read it that way, but I guess it just shows where my brain is on a Friday. i4, i3 for mixing. Yeah, I mean, you definitely can. I've used iSign 20s to mix before, and surprisingly enough, I was able to make some decent decisions doing that. I mean, light years beyond what you're going to get from, let's say, like a pair of Apple earbuds, right? Not that you would ever use those to mix, but I did once. That's my story from when I was in college and I took an electronic music class. I didn't know anything, and I was like, baby's first Logic project, and I only had really crummy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you asked. I think my wife would agree with you on that one. Chaotic. Yeah, I had these little Apple earbud things, and they're just plugged into the 3.5 jack on the back of this old Mac, and I think I layered I think I put 3 different basses in there. Like I layered it 3 times because it was like, oh, there's like no bass, and so I just way overcompensated, and then I created this little loop. I listened to it on my buddy's in my buddy's car, and he had this fancy car with this big subwoofer in the back, right? And he played the track, and it made the subwoofer start to smoke. Like it was vibrating so hard that it actually started to smell like burnt rubber or whatever. I felt so bad. So yeah, that's my whole point about mixing with crummy headphones. But the i4s, i3s, those will do just fine. LCD ones too, those are really lightweight. So if the in-ears maybe, I mean, I'm not sure if you have a lot of experience mixing on in-ears. And again, they're great. They're also, I mean, those are pretty expensive ones too, i4 especially, right? So it really depends on your budget. But the LCD one is very lightweight, also foldable, so it's really intended to be portable and easy to use for long periods of time and stuff like that. So that might be another one you want to check out, Chaotic. But of course, the in-ears are awesome. So again, at that point, it's just a matter of budget. The i3s come with a lot of other stuff too. They come with the Bluetooth cable, and I forget what other accessories, but. This game is we're playing it on Windows. I believe I can look it up. It's not out for PS5 yet, I think, but let me double check because it came out for a number of systems yesterday, but it is supposed to come out for the rest of the platforms later this year. So let me look up on their website really quick. Yeah, okay. So later in 20. Yeah, so it's going to come out on Xbox Series XS and PS5 later in 2021. And then it came out on PC, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Stadia yesterday. Yeah.
A kid with a a kid with a freaking log head busts into your room with an axe, and you're just supposed to trust him. I think
Yeah,
not.
I mean, I don't know. Seems totally trustworthy to me.
Can't play the
Do you
music box.
Any idea what's going on in the story here?
None at all. Candle.
Any plans to let users adjust side tone volume on the Penrose X? Console only, and find the side tone volume really low. Keep being told by my wife to stop shouting. Grover, have you heard anything about that? I mean, I think the answer to that is no. We do have side tone toggle on or off, but as far as being able to adjust the mix of the side tone higher, it's really just attached to the volume level of your microphone. I don't believe we currently have the means to allow you to adjust the level of side tone independent from the microphone gain itself. But of course, we're constantly tweaking stuff and preparing new firmware updates and features based on user feedback and stuff too. So I don't, who knows down the road. But
what GPU am I running for this game? My computer has a 3090.
And I think it has about a million gigs of RAM. Last I checked, right, Grover?
It's a 2.2 million gigs of RAM. Yeah, it's a 256 gig of RAM.
256 million gigs of RAM.
Yes. I built this computer for media production, actually, and music stuff, so... yeah, thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it, man.
Yep. Take it easy, Mav TK. Thanks for coming around. Oh, and I'm sorry. You'd asked if you could ask some general questions about headphones. I don't know if you're still around, Mav, but the answer to that is always yes. So next time you're around, just start dropping your questions in and we'll answer them.
Creepy.
Are they like playing poker or what are they doing? They eating dinner?
Eating dinner. Where did the other kid go? What? I was not actually really paying attention. I think he jumped out the window.
You're not really kid-sized, though. I feel like you're more of a gnome.
My proportions are all wrong.
Thunderous Quiet. I am also impatiently waiting for Euclid reviews. There are 2 out, though. Actually, 3. So Critical did some measurements, but Soundstage. Here, I can actually link them here. Soundstage and Headphonics. Headphonics was actually the first review to come out. I will drop that right here. And actually don't know if it's going to be, I don't know. There's the Headphonics review, and then there is a Soundstage review. And they actually gave us what's it called? They gave us an award. Reviewer's Choice Award, which we're very happy about. There you go. There's the Soundstage one. Criticals is just, it's on like a thread somewhere, and he just did some measurements and stuff like that. But headphone addiction is taking hold with the i4s, and Focal Stalia is in my sights next. Aha. Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Next thing you know, you're going to be sitting around in like a $30,000, I don't know what, something. Grover, what's the most expensive audio setup you've ever seen?
Stereo or headphones?
Stereo setup.
I heard a $1 million setup at CAF last year.
My God.
It was Von Schweikert, Ultimates, and VAC statement gear, and then I think EMM Labs was or maybe Meitner was the digital, and I don't remember what the turntable setup was, but just the amps pre-speakers was like $1 million.
Jeez Louise.
I did hear a system one time that was like ancient Western Electric field coil speakers with old Western Electric like 30s tube electronics, and that was I mean, the dealer was selling it for like $2 million, but that's kind of more because it was rare.
I'm sure. That's nuts, man. I think I forget we did CES this is a number of years ago, and I don't think it was $1 million setup, but whatever it was, it blew me away when I heard.
There's a pretty cool sounding speaker setups, although you really don't need to spend $1 million to get great sound.
Will the Mobius be getting an EQ like the Penrose mix amp? I don't know. I mean, our priority right now has been Penrose just because it's more recent and it takes a lot of work to get everything up and running. I'm not sure about the mix amp for Mobius. Have you heard anything about that?
No idea. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think right now it's not really on our radar, but maybe in the future. I'm not positive. Any opinions on Class A versus Class A or B amplification for planars? So that might be a question for you. I'm actually not really familiar with those types of amps. I mean, I think, I'll let Grover speak to that if he has anything to say about those. But the general rule for us, as far as amplifiers go, is mostly just as long as it has enough power to drive the headphones. From there, it's just a matter of preference as far as, each amplifier or DAC is going to introduce its own degree of either coloration or, whatever idiosyncrasies that it might have to the sound. And so you're going to prefer, based on your own tastes.
Yeah, Sennheiser Orpheus might even be up to 65 or 70 at this point, by the way. But Class A versus Class B, they're just different. I mean, my experience generally is that planars tend to like a lot of current, even relatively efficient planars. So a headphone that can deliver, good current is great. Burson makes good head amps. Shit makes good head amps. They're both Class A. Or Class A like. The past one is great. It's real expensive, but it's very nice. But there's plenty of great Class A B amps too. It just depends on what kind of sound you like and how it's designed. I don't really understand what I'm supposed to be doing here.
Well, maybe you crawl into that sack there.
Well, it's like not letting me. It's not letting me really do anything. I can do that.
This is the part where you become a beautiful butterfly. You just gotta get in there. You just gotta crawl in that little sack, though. Just get in. Just get in there.
The controls are interesting. I will say that. I am playing on controller, so that may. The perspective is a little weird.
Sure. The depth to it, or what?
Yeah, it's like moving between the depth. Sometimes is a little disorienting. Like sometimes it lets you move through the depth of the level, and sometimes it kind of restricts you a little bit.
I see.
I was thinking maybe it was something to that, but
Uncle deals with repairing electrical equipment for about 22 years, and he's doing this very well. Do you think he'd be able to open Orbit S and fix the... No, Gigabyte, I really wouldn't recommend that. It's a very particular type of technology, and it's not easy to work with. And again, the crinkling sound is not something that is the result of a mechanical failure. It's just changes of internal pressure causing that film to flex. And again, it's unfortunately it's not something that can be fixed. It's also not something that's can be, I guess, super heavily pinpointed as far as what causes it. Most of the time it doesn't occur. And again, as I mentioned before, if you do hear it, it's usually only when you're applying pressure to the headphones or something like that. And sometimes if you accidentally apply a bunch of pressure, and that can cause it to get worse. It can also just get better or worse over time too. So you might just sort of give it a little while, and you may find that it stops. But unfortunately, there's not really anything that somebody else would be able to do for that. The only recourse would be to send it back and then have us replace it for you. Although this is an Orbit S, so again, I'm not 100% sure what their deal is, but I would hit up HyperX's support team if you haven't already. I know you mentioned this is your second one. I'm not sure what happened with the first one, but... Oh, yeah, the Sennheiser Orpheus.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for another, the handle or something like that. This actually might be it. No, maybe not. Maybe it's down here. It's got to be somewhere from this point forward. I can't take anything up to crawl through, so... Was ist das? Nope, can't pick that up. Maybe. This little helper is not very helpful.
Don't let it hear you say that.
I love it. What? Hey. That's like everybody's annoying little sibling. So this is interesting. There's almost certainly something that you put in that little cog thing over there. I was thinking maybe you could pick up the carpet. I'm not seeing anything to pick up the carpet. Maybe we have to climb on the opposite side of this.
Or you could just, take a nap in that little sack over there.
Looks really appealing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's warm. Like those sleeping bags that are like
the ladder to the hanging handle.
Yeah. Pull and store, replace them with the same headphone, got the same problem. Maybe they replace this product a third time. I mean, yeah. So okay, you got it in a pull and store. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they will. And again, I'm really sorry that you're having to deal with that, Gigabyte. It really is a bummer to hear that you're having that same problem multiple times. And again, without hearing it, this is one of those issues that unless we're able to get a hold of the headphones and hear it, it's really tough for us to say, how bad the problem is. And different people are going to have different, tolerances or expectations for that. So, but again, I'm really sorry that you're having to deal with it multiple times. I wish I could be a little bit more specific for you, and unfortunately, since it's not an Audeze headphone that you own, unfortunately, I can't just refer you to our support team or anything like that. But they should replace it a third time, I would expect. But again, I can't speak to that because it's it's a HyperX product and different vendor and stuff like that.
Climb up, please. I'm a bit stumped here. I thought it was maybe something in this room, like there was some stuff. But
it's okay to be wrong sometimes.
Aggressive. It's interesting. Sometimes you automatically grab ledges or things, and sometimes you don't. You have to press the grabby button. I'm not really sure what the distinction between the two is. So you can't do that. So I'm like smashing the grab button. You can't see it, but
I believe you.
I'm smashing the grab button on everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that you were lying to me. Okay, so there's that hook up there, and there's a little gear thing down there. So you need a crank. Is there a crank?
Well, I'm trying to find if I can put something in there. I haven't seen anything square. I can climb on that bag, but only up basically to this point.
Can you reach in there? Is there like a?
There's not really a button that you can basically have one action button, and it's the jump button.
K9 says this in the previous room. You got to run backwards.
I figured it was something in one of the... Hi, please. There we go. Sometimes the character's orientation is a little goofy. In the previous room. Do you mean in the attic, K9, or in the downstairs room?
Oh, and of course, Gigabyte. We appreciate you being here and asking the questions. And again, I'm very sorry that you're dealing with that, but I hope you're able to get it taken care of swiftly and easily.
Okay. I feel like... Okay. Whoa. This kid is definitely going to have some broken bones.
feel like I'm playing I Spy right now.
Yeah. In the attic where the big creature was.
So wait, when did you replace your bag with a log?
Oh, that was a little while ago. You can change it. There's a
Oh,
right
just
now
at
I have
will.
I have a coonskin hat and a log and a bag.
You know what we should do one of these days is we should do like a head-to-head speed run of something.
The Pepsi Man game.
Do
Do you know
you
about
remember?
that game?
No, I don't.
Oh, you
What
should
is it?
look
What's
up
the deal?
the Pepsi Man
Pepsi Man.
game. It's like just ridiculous. It's one of those weird like, who made this? Why did this come out?
Right. Do you know there's a Doritos game?
I didn't. Oh,
Yeah, it's another one of those
weird
older
branded
ones.
games from the 80s and 90s are the best.
Yeah. I think it's like I think it's just like a dirt bike game or something like that. It's some weird thing like that. Good evening, Nestor
Hello.
Rodriguez. Welcome to the stream. We're glad you're here.
I hope K9 is looking up like a guide or something on that because I'm super lost.
Hint, hint.
The big old lady in the rocking chair. What? Lady in the rocking chair? I have no idea what you're talking about. Big old lady.
You know what
in the
rocking chairs are. Don't lie.
rocking chair. What? What is happening? Rocking chair? What rocking chair? Leftmost room. Oh, okay. Well, how do I get back down there? That's what we're going to figure out now. And a jump and a splat. Okay. So I came through the window. So how do I get back? Obviously the shoe is the key. That didn't work. Other left. Oh, bro.
I'm really bad at puzzle games too. Like I'd be having the same issue. Pretty sure I got lost in limbo a bunch of times.
You know, Pajama Sam was the bane of my existence as a child. Like Spy Fox, Pajama Sam. I was actually decent at putt-putt, but for some reason, Pajama Sam, there was always be a part of the game where I just got just hopelessly stuck.
I'll talk about getting hopelessly stuck in a game. Did you ever hear about Gold Rush?
Gold Rush?
Uh-huh. I
No.
would be shocked if you knew what I was talking about. It's an old game for DOS computer.
DOS.
Yes, like back when you had the big, not even floppy, what were those things? The like jumbo floppy disks, what were those called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that was a game where like there's, very little in the way of anything that actually like tells you what to do. And so the whole thing is you get this letter from your brother Jared, and your brother Jared tells you to come to California. I think you're in like Boston or something. He's like, come to California, Gold Rush, something or other, blah, blah, blah. And so you have to like figure out how to get down there. And it's loaded with all kinds of stuff. Like you can get there multiple ways, but if you forget to, let's say, buy some citrus before you get on the boat, then you're going to die of scurvy while you're on the boat. And there's nothing that tells you, hey, you need to make sure that you watch out for scurvy. It's just, if you don't discover that there's an option to buy fruit, or you opt out of buying fruit, mosquito net too. So you go through all that, don't get scurvy because you bought a lemon or whatever, and then you get raided sometimes, and you have to go like on a weird canoe through the Panama Canal, and if you didn't bring a mosquito net with you, you get eaten alive by mosquitoes. There's like all kinds of things like that where if you don't like read a guide or something like that, there's just no way to figure out, and all these arbitrary things that you have to do. Otherwise you just die, and there's nothing you can do about it but start over. And there's this one part of the game where you go through all that, and you finally get to, I don't know where it is, some sort of little outpost, and you're waiting for a wagon, and the wagon arrives like at a certain time. And if you don't get in the wagon at that time, You're literally just stuck there for forever. You can't get out of that part of the game if you miss the wagon. So
I'm stuck. Can't. There we go.
Audeze, are you using equalizer APO? I have a text configuration file. I can guarantee that configuration I prepared for about 3 years is perfect. We are not using equalizer APO. I don't know, Grover, if you're using that, but are you talking
I
about?
haven't used it before.
Yeah, Gigabyte, you're saying you're the perfect for low, mid, and high tones for what? Like headphones. Behind those cabinets? Beyond those cabinets.
How do I open the cabinets?
Run really fast. You have a log for a head. You should be able to just like ram your way through them.
Well, it's like I can't open them. Behind those cabinets. Oh no. Is it? I don't know how much behind the stream you guys are. Like
probably like 20-30 seconds or so.
Oh, okay.
It's usually.
I think I know where it is actually. Let me go and check this because I suspected this was the thing before. Right behind these cabinets.
Are you holding a bottle?
Yeah, I was throwing some bottles earlier. I'm so lost, Jaren. Help! Look up a guide. I don't know what to do.
Well, you got to find some cabinets. Probably those. That looks like a cabinet. Can you go behind there? Can you run that way and then left?
To the attic with the room that has the key. Try to go back to the room before that one, beyond the cabinets that make the wall.
That way.
Okay, yeah, right. So that's what I was trying to figure out. Was like, can I go behind these cabinets?
Right.
But I don't think so.
Well, those are some cabinets. There's so many cabinets. Are those doors? Can you run through the like little double door on the left? You just keep going left.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out. But there's nothing back here.
Oh, maybe I assume that key is for the. I wouldn't even know where to. I'd have to like read through the whole guide just to figure out where you are. I don't know.
I'm not super far into the game, so these cabinets maybe.
Okay, hold on. This was called, but it's also it just came out yesterday. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure someone's speed ran it already.
Yeah.
Maybe crouch. Oh, I haven't tried crouching.
How to get the key.
Oh man.
And where are you, in the attic? Are you in an attic? Escape the hunter's attic. That sounds like where maybe you are. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, accept all cookies. Thank you. Okay, and then you got into the house, and then there's this door, and then you got. Did you ever see an axe?
Yeah, I got the axe. Got past that.
Okay. Then did you do a thing where you had to push a suitcase across and then
Yep.
Okay. Push the suitcase together across the line and you get the key above you. Here we go. Take a boost to the other side, top of the cupboard, then crouch on the shelf. The next area, you'll need to grab the handle. Return to the other child and throw down the handle. What? Take a boost on the other side.
Yeah, the handle, so that opens that opens the attic.
In the next area, you'll need to grab the handle. So it says return to the other child and throw down the handle. They'll grab it and raise the rope. But what handle? That's the thing. Where did you get the handle from? Handle. Scratch on the table. Dear.
Like this. Nope.
Oh, the axe handle.
The axe handle?
Yeah. Try to put the axe handle in there.
Well, I can't get back to the axe handle.
Oh.
Where? What?
I mean, I don't think that was right. I'm trying to find any reference to handle here, and I'm not seeing anything that tells you like how to get a handle.
There's a shovel handle over here. Maybe this is something.
Maybe.
Because the axe handle's way back. Oh, wait, what was that? Okay. Did I get stuck? Did we discover a bug? Am I just stupid?
I don't know, man. I mean, this little guide doesn't say anything about where to get a handle there. Okay, in the last live stream, you said that you have 18 low shelf filters. Yes. Now you have 31 low shelf filters and 17 high shelf filters. And it could be weird, but these additional shelf filters are in 5 to 20 hertz and in 20,000 to 48,000 hertz for the Orbit S. Oh, you mean 1 to 20 hertz. You hear that, Grover? There's more shelf filters.
Yes, more shelf filters. I actually don't know about equalizer APO, so I have no idea if that's like a ridiculous number or a lot. If it's like actual shelf filters, then that sounds like a lot. But come over here, give me a boost or something. I don't. Maybe you're supposed to boost up to the. But I don't understand.
Yeah, well, so you grab that to unlock that. I don't either, dude.
Flashlight, remote, jump through, attack, call, sprint, grab, crouch, slide. Well, you can slide. Get back to the axe handle and maybe load from a checkpoint. Can you run towards the camera to try to get back to the axe handle? Yeah, I think... Hold on. I feel like I missed... I missed something. Because the axe handle's way back there. Unless... Right, okay, so you're supposed to push the trunk forward, right? Got that, alright. Cool. Shoe. Not finding anything up here. Nope, not that. Okay. Can I get them to grab this? I don't really know how to tell them to do stuff. Okay. Axe handle. The axe handle. Where's the axe handle? Oh.
It's probably with the axe.
I left the axe.
Why'd you do that?
Well, it wasn't... I didn't know I would need it.
It's your first mistake. And your last mistake.
Clearly. Let's see if I can open this wardrobe. Nope. Okay. Right. So we do here. And... axe handle. Ah! I got it! Jeez.
Oh, where was it? Just on top of the...
I just happened to walk over there, and it's the 15th time I've walked over there, and finally my little buddy was like, oh, hey, why don't I give you a boost this time?
See, I told you it was left. Didn't I say left? I did.
Oh, gross.
Oh, there's the rocking. That's not a rocking chair. That's a regular chair.
Close enough.
Mean, maybe if one of the legs is too short, it's close enough. Oh, cool. You got a whole arm with it, too. What a bargain.
Need a hand?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess I'll take this back.
I just realized that anything that I say about your game is going to be heard 30 seconds after people saw the thing that I commented on.
It's definitely, yeah.
It's my mistake.
Yeah, whatevs. Oh, 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 okay. Wasn't sure if that was right or not. Oh boy. Wow, that was, phew. What is this thing? What the hell is this?
That would be a key.
No, no, no.
Oh, all right. I'm in the past. I forgot. Okay,
yes,
hold on.
yes.
You're opening a drawer. Here. Oh, oh. The little paper cup hat, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe it's another little kid guy.
Why can I not climb?
Because your legs are too stubby. You don't have good enough grip strength. You gotta, like, carry around some heavy stuff.
I will say this: it's no Assassin's Creed.
No, no one else suppose it is.
Okay, please grab the picture.
That little dude's giving you the runaround.
Know how to get up here.
Where'd your little buddy go?
I don't know. Okay, I don't. What is the purpose of all this?
Well, it looks like you're doing pull-ups. So maybe you're trying to get stronger. Maybe there's no point to this and you're not even supposed to be here. You're like, yeah, you could follow this guy around for hours and nothing will happen. It's
No, I think this is a scripted chase scene because you can catch him and basically you can catch him and press the grab button, but you can't catch up to him. Some kid yelling in the darkness. Okay.
Yeah, the game does look very good. I like the art style and the graphics are quite good. And how's the music?
It's nice. It's very minimal. Okay.
Dude, that little dude shouldn't be holding a match because I'm pretty sure his hat's made out of paper.
What do? This is another one of those what do moments. Here we go. It's very dark game. I don't mean the subject matter. I mean it's like it's hard to see stuff sometimes.
Yes. Could always increase the gamma.
I set it to where they recommended, I think.
Did you?
Supposedly.
Did you?
Turn my screen brightness up too. You can always rage throw those things as well, which is kind of nice. Okay, so what does that do? I think we can finally... Oh. No? What did that do? Okay, I pulled the lever. Ah, gotcha. Okay. No, I'm not sure I quite understand what pulling the lever did. Oh my gosh. So now everyone is seeing why I typically don't stream puzzle games.
Mm-hmm.
What is this thing? I'm gonna want to put this in the middle, I expect, right? There, maybe. And then I feel like I overthink these games. Like sometimes I'm like, is it this or what's going on? And it's like I'm overcomplicating it a little bit. Like, because what they did was they just showed me how to go the way that he went.
Uh-huh.
And
I do the same thing for sure.
And I thought it was like some complicated thing, and it was really just.
Grover, let me tell you a story about about problem solving. Let me tell you a story. When I was a kid, I was, I don't know, you know crayons. I assume you know crayons or colored pencils, what have you.
What now?
Well, now sometimes people choose to store crayons or colored pencils in what you might call a lunchbox, like a plastic lunchbox, you know, with like a latch on one side.
Mm-hmm.
Think about like a Pelican case, but for food, like that.
Okay.
So I was trying to open one of these once when I was a kid, and I just couldn't get it open. Open, it just wouldn't happen. I don't understand what was going on, and I tried, couldn't get it. Finally got it, only to discover that I had been trying to open it from the wrong side, and so what I actually ended up doing was just rip the box in half. So just in terms of, you know, overcomplicating your puzzle situation, I'm just saying I can relate as a deeply rooted.
I was really bad at cereal boxes as a kid.
Like what? How are you? Like what? Huh?
I couldn't open them without annihilating them, and then I realized there's a thing, like, you know, they've got the tab.
Yeah.
You're supposed to open them by running your finger in the empty space where the tab is, and then to the left and right side to open them and then reuse them. I just didn't understand how that worked, so I always tore them. I just tore them open from this one, like, left to right side.
Yeah, but the real question here is, like, did your parents not say, like, hey, Grover, stop?
They were like, why are you such a little monster?
Box?
They're like, what, you little cretin? Why are you ripping all the boxes open?
Well, yeah, like, how many boxes did it take for them to finally say something about it? That's what I'm curious about. Because you would think after one box they would have brought it up and be like,
oh, no, my parents hassled me a lot as a kid, like in a good-natured way, but like they hassled me a lot, so it was like very much they were like, you're a little cretin, you little monster, why did you destroy the box?
That's how we talk to our cats.
Yeah.
Turns out our cats like carbohydrates, so if we leave bread out, one of our cats will just get to it. Like if we leave it in a bag, or she'll just come out the next day and the bag will be got a hole in it, and the bread will have a big old chunk missing out of it. They like tortilla chips. The problem is that my wife keeps feeding them like pizza and chips and other various things, and I've given up telling her to stop doing it.
Oh, there's a little man in the toilet.
Oh, well, that's great, Grover.
Do you think this game was made before or after the pandemic?
Oh, I'm sure it was in development before. There's no way they developed this all in the last, well, God, it's been about a year, but I just feel like it takes longer than a year to develop a game, although this is the second one, so if it's the same engine as the first one, then that would have dramatically sped up the development time, so who knows? Who knows?
I wonder if it's Charmin.
Like Ultra?
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
The thing that really puzzles me, right, is like there's a whole universe, there's a whole lore of like Charmin bears. There's the red ones and the blue ones, right? And the red Charmin bears and the blue Charmin bears like don't associate. So what's up with that, you know? Like
Are you sure that's a real thing and not a made up thing?
yeah, and then there's purple Charmin bears. So like what's going on there?
Wait, are you just talking about like on the bags?
No,
like
no,
on
in
the
the
bags?
advertisements. I didn't play the original. So that's why I'm really bad at this one because I don't understand what's going on. It's a very into the woods vibe. Maybe that's. Okay, so. Do the thing. Give me a boost. Do something. Be useful. Okay. I can't go to the side. I can't go down. What can I do? I can fall. I can do a lot of falling. Can you boost me up?
You can
into
dance
this,
if
and
you
can
want
I-
to.
Ooh, let's see. Okay.
You can leave your friends behind.
That's what I'm told.
I mean, if they don't dance, what friends are they, you know?
All right. Okay.
No friends of yours, that's who.
Oh boy. Did you play the first one, K9?
Oh.
Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I need a tool from back outside that I missed. Maybe it's not the toilet paper. Maybe that's not the answer.
Toilet
Maybe
papers.
it's the extra toilet paper rolls. My grandfather used to call them ha-has.
Toilet paper rolls used to call ha-has?
Yeah, like the leftover toilet paper rolls. He called them ha-has.
Wait. Oh, you mean like the cardboard?
Yeah, the cardboard that's left over after the...
Call them ha-has. Why do you call them ha-has?
I don't really know.
Huh.
English wasn't his first language, so, you know, it's a mystery.
Sure. Sure. What was his first language? Where's your grandpa from?
Chinese.
Ah.
Not Mandarin, like an old weird form of Mandarin. He was, his family was part of the Chinese aristocracy that fled communist China
Wow.
before the revolution back in the 30s. And then they became real life crazy rich Asians. They bought land in Singapore, back when land in Singapore was like, not cheap, but like cheaper.
Right.
And then my specific part of the family came over, and he was an inventor for Motorola and invented many like early cell phone tech and like the stuff that they used to like for car sensors for LiDAR and like new types of chicken feed and like weird, all sorts of weird interesting stuff. He has like a ton of patents, like 5,000 patents under his name.
Wow.
At the patent office. So
Crazy.
oh, that's cool. Yeah, share the song with us. Can
Yeah.
you drop it in the chat, please?
Yeah. It's gonna say the same thing.
Which, incidentally, happy Lunar New Year to anybody who is celebrating Lunar New Year.
Yes, I believe we have a social media post about that.
We do. It's actually technically it's like a 2 to 4 week celebration, but this weekend is the official, I think, date of the.
Oh, the actual.
Mhm.
Actual. Gotcha.
Hold on. What if? Okay. Well. Help.
Help, you say? Okay. Do you have an amp DAC recommendation for PS5? Currently using Creative G6 and LCDX. Amp DAC recommendation for PS5. I mean, no, not really. Gosh, I haven't even thought about using a console with an amp DAC, to be honest with you. Do you have a, what do you think, Grover? I mean, you're more of a gear guy than I am. An amp DAC for PS5, what do you think?
The thing about PlayStation 5 you're going to want to make sure is that whatever it is uses USB UAC 1 because it doesn't support UAC 2. And not a lot of devices list the specification because manufacturers might not know, like support teams might not know off the top of their head because it's kind of a weird thing to list. But definitely ask. Make sure it's got UAC 1. The original shit Fulla was a pretty solid choice because it was so small. I tend to think small is good in this case. But honestly, you know, LCD-X. Yeah, the LCD-X is pretty efficient, so it'll run off anything.
Yeah, even without an amp DAC, you'd be fine. Fulla or the Hell is the larger one, right? Or I get those mixed
but
up.
that one does UAC 2. Doesn't have UAC 1, at least as far as I know. So I would. I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I really hope the toilet paper is like a. Okay, I can't call my little friend. I feel like this is key. I feel like this thing over here is the key. Yeah, it depends on your price point. What kind of gear you're looking for, really. Like price point, size, you know, things like that. Another reason the screen looks a little bit dark to me is because I have all these studio lights on so you can see my face. Okay. I'm stumped. Guide master, assist me. I need help. Oh, whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. Ah. Resume. Shoe? Maybe? Push a crate towards the window. Hold on. Let me get the chat back on top. Push a crate towards the window in order to reach it, but it'll stop after a couple pushes. You have to jump from there to the window. Okay. Thank you, Chaotic K9. Is it this crate? Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Gosh, what a lifesaver. It would be the end if I didn't have you. Fun orchestration. Well, we'll have to check it out. That sounds cool. Will this guy kill you? Oh, that was so anticlimactic. I thought he was gonna like chop you in half or something like that. I guess it's called Little Nightmares, not like give you nightmares.
Yeah, not big nightmares.
Who cares about sneaking? Oh no.
Did you just get vacuumed up? What did he do? It looked like he poked you or something.
No, he hits you with the butt of a rifle.
Ah. It's gonna make you into pie. Looks like he hit you again.
I would ask. The monolith, I don't have a ton of experience with. In terms of $500, you know, I like the stuff from iFi. I like the stuff from... okay. I like the stuff from iFi. The stuff from Shit is good as well. A lot of the Shit stuff is UAC 2, though. So, you know, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. The USB protocol situation is so confusing.
Oh, jeez. Well, it's just weird that... I think I just got decked.
Again?
Well, he shot me that time.
Oh.
You'll see in a second.
Oh, dang.
Oh, you've got to hide. Okay, I got it. Not gonna make it. The recreation of the Ring Wraith scene from the Fellowship of the Ring. But yeah, I would maybe ask iFi and see if they have anything that's UAC 1 compatible. It's a little strange to me that Sony doesn't support UAC 2 at this point on PlayStation 5, but I think it's probably just something where they're like, that's for nerds, we don't need to support that.
Yeah, who knows? It's surprising to hear that too, though. I mean, it's the PS5, right? It's cutting edge. You'd think. But then again, you know, I don't know how often it's relevant. Like, how many USB devices would this be relevant for? Like, is this a broader USB issue, or is it an amplification specific thing? Like, what's the? I don't know anything about UAC.
UAC is just a standard.
Just across any USB-based device.
Yeah, yeah. So UAC is a standard that is basically, you know, how does the UAC2 basically uses less power to accomplish a similar USB connection. So it's like a 225 or 250 milliwatt spec, and it essentially just offers better sound quality and better bandwidth and things like that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean it's more granular even than USB 1, 2, 3, etc. It just has to do with how much power it uses, and it's a sound quality thing. UAC 2 has a faster connection and better sound quality.
Well, so that was actually kind of what I was getting at. Is like, when is this relevant? Is it only relevant for audio-based USB devices, or what? Because you mentioned audio quality a bunch of times just now. So I'm like, is there anything else, like any other type of device, non-audio device, that would be affected by?
That's interesting. I don't know actually. I'm actually not. I mean, I've read the original paper that talks about the USB spec, but I don't really know. I know UAC2 uses less power, and so it allows USB controllers to basically have more devices active at the same time, which is obviously a benefit, but I'm not real familiar with if it offers advantages beyond just functionality and usability. Functionally, it is much better, but did I die? Was that the wrong choice? Clearly it was. So yeah, most things are UAC 2 nowadays, but I think Nintendo Switch might be UAC 1 as well. Or maybe not. It might support UAC 2. Not sure. I used to know these things, but it's been a little while.
What's it stand for? Universal Audio Converter? No.
No, it's something to do with it's got to do with like the control standard.
Unrelentingly acidic carrot. Nothing for that. Nothing for that. Hard work I did for that joke, and you just there we go. That's what I want to hear.
Yes. It's so funny. So funny.
Thank you. Yeah.
What else is new with us? Euclid, the LXs, which are sold out
Euclid
now.
LXs. We're nothing really beyond that, that's super new. I think, you know, we're working on some Penrose stuff, of course, and Audeze HQ stuff, of course, and hoping to have updates, you know, soonish. Who knows when, of course. We want to make sure everything works right and is ready to go before we launch it. But yeah, there's nothing really else that's super new. We are working on getting our newsletter up and running again, which would be good. Just sort of a monthly thing where we basically just showcase some of the content that EU have been working so hard on. So that'd be a good thing. If anybody here hasn't signed up for the newsletter yet, definitely recommend doing that, because we will be a little bit more active on that coming up soon. And then, of course, you know, any sales announcements, they're always going to be there first. I think I mentioned this in the last stream too. But you know, if you hear about our sale on social media, chances are there are people who heard about it on the email blast first. And with how quickly things tend to sell out, always good to jump on as early as you can. But yeah, that's really about it. It's kind of a quiet week for us at Audeze. As quiet as they get, I suppose.
Yeah, audio class. That's what it is. There's a couple of companies that have made their own class-compliant devices as well. RME is one of them. Shit has Unison USB, but it only works as a playback device. So, and then I think Rockna, maybe a few others have done it, but it's rare. Most people will use an XMOS or C Media chip. Oh, a little bit of frame drop there.
No.
F's in the chat, yeah. Ugly ape cheese. Ugh, gross. There's another hat up there, I think.
So you have a paper cup hat now.
Yes, that was what the little dude brought me to. And now I have a new hat.
I'm not there. I'm not at that part of the stream yet.
It's a little garlic head hat. Oh, that's interesting. Ah, that explains a lot. I didn't notice this before. It like blurs the background heavily when you walk far enough forward. Ah. I see. Well,
look at that. Got a little fire person hat. A little fireman's hat. Or wait, is that like a fisherman's hat? It's a little hard to tell if that's made of rubber or hard plastic.
A fisherman's hat.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a good question in the chat.
Are you going to upgrade the mic on the GX to incorporate Shure Tech? Yes, I think. I don't know. I don't really know the whole situation. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're planning on doing that. I just don't know when. But yeah, something to keep an eye out for sure.
He just shot the TV. Whoa. Apparently Elvis shot his TV with a Magnum 45 once.
Well, I'm sure he was on drugs.
And a lot of peanut butter and molasses. He has a recipe in his like book of gross recipes that Elvis likes for peanut butter.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The title on the book?
It's the official title. It's called Peanut Butter and Molasses Sandwiches, which is like totally disgusting.
That just sounds like it would be tough to get through, you know?
It sounds like a home recipe for rubber cement glue.
Sure.
Peanut butter and molasses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 hats. Mouthful of slime. How do I get out of the slime? I don't want to be in the slime no more. Yeah, the depth of field effects are cool. How do I get out? Let me out. Ah, I see. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Ah.
Ooh. Oh boy. Oh brother. I kind of knew that was going to happen.
Man, you got wrecked.
Jesus. I like how he just pretends we don't exist. Nuts.
What's he wearing? Is that a bag? A big bag on his head?
Yeah, he's got a bag head too. Hold on. There we go. My chair was like
Sure,
falling-
blame the chair.
falling back into infinity. You gotta have a appropriate. Woo! Nuts. Gotta have a good gaming chair, you know. So
Right,
it's
with
a
the lumbar support.
maximum performance. You can't.
Uh-huh.
You can't perform without
Right,
the right chair.
right. So they say.
I don't know. I've never had a gaming chair.
Nor have I.
I have one of those Herman Miller embody chairs that I got. Nuts. On like a big sale because it's.
Oh, jeez. It's a $1,500 chair.
Yeah, I didn't pay that much for it. They were having a big sale on them at this outlet, and it was a color that they didn't make anymore, and I guess wasn't like a super popular color.
Uh-huh.
So I got like a enormous discount on it.
So what's so special about this chair?
It's just really comfy.
Yeah.
The Herman Miller chairs are like they're just like very ergo. You know, they're super tweakable, so you can adjust all the different parameters of them. This one supposedly has like all these little spines and stuff like that, so it kind of molds itself to you as you sit in it. I don't know. It's comfy. I like it.
It's good.
It,
I've got a bad chair. Yeah.
My butt doesn't get sore when I'm kind of an ergo nut, as I'm sure you. Like I have one of those Japanese like little floor beds that's like
Sure.
quite firm, and all my furniture, like all my office furniture, is like pretty ergo firm, whatever.
Right. I've got IKEA furniture,
'Cause
actually.
I'm hardcore.
Yeah. I assembled my furniture with glue. Yeah.
With glue.
Yeah. Some. I mean, not exclusively out of glue. Of course, there were some screws involved as well, but glue was involved. That's for sure.
Why glue?
Well, because it's IKEA furniture, and
Doesn't it come
you
with what?
you just okay. So here's a little pro tip for you with IKEA furniture. If you want it to not get sort of weird and slouchy over time, you can glue it together when you also use the screws. So put like a bit of like Gorilla Glue on the edge when you put the screws in, and then you just push it together, and it'll help it retain its shape for longer periods of time. Or so I've been told by the guy who told me to do that. I've not verified this information with a third party, but you know, if you ever feel like gluing some furniture, now you have a reason.
I usually use melted Jolly Ranchers and masking tape.
Sure. I
To
mean, that's
fix,
weird, but that's all right.
No, it's the blue. It's the lighter blue color, and white backing, I think. That's how I fixed my microwave.
Wait, what? Wait.
With
What?
melted Jolly Ranchers and masking tape. That's how I fixed my microwave. The microwave in my current apartment was like broken, so I took a blowtorch and melted down some Jolly Ranchers and took some masking tape, and I taped because the control board was like coming off the microwave, so I took it, I stuck it back there, and yeah, the microwave stopped screaming, and it works great. It's been
Melted
months.
Jolly Rancher.
Yep, it's great. Works perfect. It's the stickiest substance known to man.
What? This is
Yeah.
coming out of nowhere, and I don't know how to take it.
We were talking about gluing furniture together.
Yeah, but then you started talking about melted Jolly Ranchers, and now I don't know what
You
to
know how
think.
sticky Jolly Ranchers are? They're real sticky.
I've only ever eaten them, Grover. I don't know how sticky Jolly Ranchers
yeah.
are. They'll
So
eat
what
my
you need
mouth.
to do is get one of those little birthday candle things, or like a little blowtorch or something like that. How am I
Wait.
supposed to get through this?
Wait,
I don't
birthday
understand.
candles and blowtorches are two very different things.
The lighters that you use to light birthday candles. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and then you melt down the Jolly Ranchers, and then you stick them back in things, and you use a little masking tape, and it's
Huh?
perfect.
Now, when you say perfect,
Well, I live on the 3rd floor of a building in downtown, so I don't really have to worry about ants. But, you know,
right.
yeah, don't
Right.
put it in your hair. I knew a girl. This goes back to in music school. There was a teacher of mine who went to music ed, and oh yeah, congrats on the free headset, by the way.
Oh, where'd you when did you win,
McRiver.
through what did you win that?
Okay. So yeah, and there was a teacher of mine who was like, yeah, back in music ed school, there was a girl who was doing the crash course where I guess in music ed degrees you have to learn all the instruments, right? And she was a violin player or something, a cello player maybe. And in the course of going through the brass winds, she was told by her instructor as a joke to I can't quite make it there. She was like, "How do you grease the slide on a trombone?" And he jokingly said, "Oh, ranch dressing." And she didn't know because she was she put ranch dressing all over her practice trombone. And the school said, "You know what? That's okay. You don't have to give it back. You can keep that one." Because it was covered in ranch. And how do you get there in time? I don't understand this.
I mean, I feel like they could have cleaned that up, like, you know. I won it right now from the giveaway you decided to do after you saw me.
That's clever.
I was like,
that.
yeah, I don't remember authorizing an LCD giveaway unless it's an LCD one somewhere. I was like, what did I forget? Now I know.
I love our community. They're great.
I like fire-based repair solutions. Indeed. When in doubt, set it on fire.
Okay. Well, I think we were closer that time, so what we have to do is run from there to get to the doodly hoodly.
The doodly hoodly. Not to be confused with the hoodly doodly.
It's entirely separate things.
Completely different.
You can slide. You got to do the baseball slide.
You can slide?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I noticed that you could go underwater. Did you? Because I noticed that you got shot in the water like a bunch of times. Could you have just been swimming underwater that whole time?
Well, you can't breathe forever.
Well, sure, but you don't need to breathe forever. You
Well,
just need to breathe. You know, you just need to not breathe for a minute. That's it.
oh, this is dark. This is quickly getting very dark.
Okay, you're going into the house. I see you getting into the house now. And now you're...
That
Oh.
got real dark.
You grabbed a gun, but the gun's really big. Now your little buddy's helping you with the gun, and then you're gonna, I see, and then you're gonna pull the trigger, and then you shot that guy. So was that the part that you said was dark, or the part where
Yeah.
you shoot that dude? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you take his bag?
No, I don't think so. Oh.
Bummer.
I feel like the fishing hat suits the kind of Bayou-esque theme. It's pretty, I mean, it's somewhat cinematic, but I'm pretty much in control of most of it. Yeah, it does look like a cutscene a lot, but it's not. I mean, there's a linear path, I would say, is what it seems like most of the time, but you're definitely in control a lot of the time.
So I say we probably going to be calling this in about 12 minutes or so. Call it at 5.
Sounds like a good plan. Also, I think either at 4:30 or maybe 5 o'clock, depending on. I think 4:30 is generally 4:30 or 5 o'clock is generally when he starts. Torva will be auto-hosted on our channel after this, so definitely check his channel out. He's a really, really good Call of Duty Warzone player.
And he uses the LCD GX, I believe.
He does, yeah. He's crazy good too. He has one of the highest KD ratios in the entire game.
That's crazy.
He might even have a better KD ratio than It's Iron, but I don't think he has as many wins. Yeah.
Well, they both use our headphones, so
yeah, and It's Iron, who is the top player in terms of wins in Warzone, also is an Audeze user. I'm using LCD2 closed backs. They sound phenomenal. The game audio is very good. It's very creepy. Lots of big rumbly bass sounds and like tinkly, creepy, scratchy water. What's the water phone thingy? They use it. It's like it looks like a gourd, and then it's got little tines on it, and you kind of scrape it with a bow to get that like breaking ships underwater sound.
Isn't it just called a water phone?
Maybe called
vibrating
a
water phone. The thing that you bow.
Yeah. Is it just called a water phone?
According to Google. Or, wait, also called ocean harp or aquasonic water phone.
Wow, fancy.
It's a type of inharmonic acoustic-tuned idiophone consisting of a stainless steel resonator bone.
That's a category of instrument, not a specific.
Yeah, it's the water phone member of the idiophone family.
I have banana phone stuck in my head.
LCD XC. I haven't used it actually super recently. So I'm not as well. I don't know if you know X. Yeah, I don't know if you know X144 Chaotic, but he is a mix engineer and producer who really likes the XCs. So I haven't really had a chance to sit down and compare them both. I like the 2Cs just because they creepy.
Yeah, the 2Cs don't have phasers. I mean, so those are going to give you just a different sound than the XCs are going to. The XCs are also a little bit heavier. The more recent ones are going to use the carbon ear cups, and those are going to be, I think, 760 grams, whereas the LCD2 Classic closed back, I think, is 661 or something in there. Okay. So a little bit less weight, but it's tens of grams, not necessarily going to be super perceptible.
Yeah, I also just like the frequency response of the LCD2 closed backs.
Yeah, I like it too.
It's just got a nice contour to it.
Yeah, I agree. I A/B'd the 2s and the 2 Classics at one point just to really hear what difference the phasers made, and I was actually caught off guard by how much I preferred the Classic.
Yeah, it's cool. It's got like kind of it's a little juicier, a little warmer, in a cool way. I also have a pair of LCD just 2s here, and I've actually been really enjoying those, which sometimes, I don't know, maybe I have pedestrian taste, but I really like some of the less expensive ones in our line
It's
too.
Pedestrian taste with your $800 headphones.
Yeah.
So pedestrian. And your $1,500 chair.
I didn't pay
and your 3 million gigabytes of RAM.
Jump up. There we go.
Over 700 grams. Love them at the weight. Does get you a couple hours. Yeah. So we've messed around with our headband design a bit to try and help. The new suspension strap definitely makes a difference. Wait, is that you're supposed to get a boost? What happened?
I just slipped it. You'll see it in a second. That was not an on-purpose fall that time. I swear. That was just a regular old oopsie.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh, what the heck? What? Not how that one was supposed to go exactly.
Oh, wait, I thought you were gonna fall in the hole, but you didn't. No, yes, you did.
I definitely did.
It was worth watching that. My wife and I, did I tell you we bought the Scott Pilgrim game?
Oh,
that was re-released.
How was that? I didn't play it back when it came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was for PlayStation 3, I think. So it was like 2013 or something that it originally released.
I heard a lot of people really liked it.
It's a really fun game. There's a couple of like game-breaking crashes. We had to turn the system resolution down to like 720 or whatever, and that seemed to fix it. But other than that, it's a lot of fun. We had to put it on easy though. It's tough.
I heard it was real hard. It's kind of like a roguelite-ish. Is it turn-based or is it live action? I can't remember.
It is a beat 'em up. It's not turn-based.
Oh, it's a beat 'em up. Okay, right.
Yeah, just a classic arcade-like beat 'em up. Not really roguelike. I thought it was roguelike or whatever, but it's not really. If you die, you continue, and you keep all of your stats and your character progress and level and all that stuff. You just
gotcha.
Yeah, so it's the fact that they even have a finite number of lives that they give you is kind of pointless anyway, because you just hit continue and then you're fine. So, which is fine. I don't think we need anything more high pressure than that in our lives anyway.
Yeah, I don't really know what those little glitchy dudes do, but. So what is this game called? This is called Little Nightmares 2, I believe.
Yes, Little Nightmares 2 just released yesterday, actually, for a bunch of stuff. But it'll be out for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S towards the end of the year, or later this year anyway. And then it released for like all the other stuff, like Switch, PS4, Xbox One, PC.
Oh wow! It's just like my modern art classes.
What, with the dude hanging there? Because your teacher hated it so much?
Oh my.
Dark joke.
No, the next room with the TV.
Yeah, the TV. Mm-hmm.
It's like going to the MoMA.
What do you think it means?
I don't know.
Are you a fan of modern art, Grover?
I don't know, but can one be a fan of like modern art or not a fan of modern art? I think I'm just a fan of good art. And there's certainly some very affecting modern art exhibits that I've seen. There's also some that didn't really do much for me.
Sure. So as a category, you're not comfortable committing to liking or disliking.
I would say
but
I genuinely, I'm into it. It's very, I don't mind L. Pressing L, okay. What do I have to do? It doesn't bother me as just the genre of it being like a...
more abstract?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
It definitely catches a lot of flack. I feel like it's like one of those things where the process supersedes the result sometimes. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, on the one hand, right, understanding the context is important because the context of like 1950s, right, modern experimental or performance art is very much like, hey, we're trying to break these rules of, what art is supposed to be or what art should be, that are also kind of emblematic of like an old, European view of the world that got us into World War I and II. And so,
sure.
Of course, Dadaism, right? There's a lot of discussion about how Dadaism was like social critique of World War I. And I think in the same way, things like John Cage or
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah, for sure. With music, I mean, the whole atonality,
Mhm.
movement, serialism, all that stuff was in the
Mhm.
same way, right? Like
But
a
also
reaction
like
against that.
mid-period Bauhaus and like Yoko Ono's early art is very much, to me, it's about exploring, expression in different formats than were previously acceptable, and kind of it's about the conceptual element, right? And if you understand that, then you understand the genre. It's kind of like you wouldn't look at impressionism and be like, well, there's no detail. It's like that's not
Oh,
the
sure. Yeah, I
point.
mean, everything should be evaluated in the context of itself, right? I mean, to a certain degree, although, I mean, it's impossible to, nothing exists in a vacuum, obviously. But yeah, I think it
Right,
is
nothing
important
exists in a vacuum. And I
yeah,
think by the same token, right, like Andy Warhol, right? Like some people are like Andy Warhol. So when it first came out, people were like, this is so stupid. It's just
right,
garbage. It's. But the point was kind of that it was, it was about commercialism.
right.
So I think in that sense, right, like, you know, young art students who are interested in like conceptual and breaking frameworks and all that, like that's the genre that kind of interests you. Some people like metal music, some people like classical, some people like.
Oh, sure,
So I think that's kind of my take on it.
sure.
Now I do think a lot of people, a lot of art critics especially, it's like very, it's easy to kind of perceive that people have like sort of BS opinions on stuff. Because once you get into conceptual art, there's not like there's a, I don't want to say there's a lower degree of technical skill, but you're not being things aren't being judged so much on technical ability.
Right.
They're being judged more on ideologically, like conceptual
Yeah,
execution.
well, exactly. I mean, it's the same thing with the musical genres, right? I mean,
Mhm.
again, even using the word modern, I don't really know what that means because modern is from decades ago, right? So, like, the term
Right.
modern, as you were saying, is from what, like 60s, 70s. Like, it's not modern anymore. But back then, I mean,
Like 40s, 50s,
when I say
60s.
the process supersedes the result, it's like I hate listening to all of that music. It's not written to be something that people generally want to listen to outside of like an appreciation for the process and why it was made and what it represents. And so, I don't know. Certainly,
I've
to
never
each
been a
their own.
huge, I think I would say I'm not generally a huge fan of process-based art, which is process-based for the sake of the artist going through like a process. I think it can be ethnomusicologically interesting in the way that, like Jackson Pollock, to me, I think it's interesting to look at. Some people think it's really stupid, but I think what Jackson Pollock was doing was interesting because he had a very structured way of doing things, right? He wasn't actually just throwing paint on canvas. He would do it in very specific ways. And the whole point of a Jackson Pollock exhibit was actually kind of the minutia of that structure. Now, someone just like slapping paint on a canvas and being like, this helped me get through, an experience in my life. It's like, that's cool.
Sure.
I think a lot about like what kinds of connections you have to have in the art world to get that sort of stuff displayed. And I think that to me is very different than something like serialism from Schoenberg, where it's like, it's very structured. It's very specifically done in that way for an effect, right? And that to me, like the early modern period is very different from the later conceptual modern period. And so that's always something I think about. Why are we carrying things? What is this? Give me this can. Okay. So I think a lot about those sorts of things, like the context. Contemporary, I would say contemporary music and art has trended much more towards accessibility than towards the kind of alienation of
I would.
the modern.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Although
style.
I still wonder what, because I mean, in my view, I mean, not really my view, right? It's a fact that style of, especially in music, right? All that stuff developed more or less in academia. I mean, there were various other things, right? Like the what was it, like the old Bell Labs stuff? I forget.
Oh, the old
what.
weird synthesizer stuff from Bell
Yeah.
Labs. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that was
So some
almost,
stuff
I would
was
say,
that.
more just like grounded in technology than a
Right.
conceptual
But
framework. But yeah, I would agree with you. For me, Schoenberg, right, you can hear Schoenberg's 12-tone music and Alban Berg especially, right, as it's like the sort of continuation of Romantic music, because you can hear Romantic era voice leading and rhythms in it. Now, what comes after that, right, the music of Ligeti and things like that starts to push the boundaries to such a point where it's difficult to hear that as anything other than
just noise. Yeah, well, sure, and I mean, I think at least my understanding of the composers back in that time and how they would view their contemporaries, because obviously there were people writing a lot of different kinds of music, and so anytime like you said, that sort of the romantic inspirations that would happen during that same time were viewed, my understanding was negatively by academia and these people who basically insisted that, look, in order for it to be, of artistic merit, it needs to be new, and the only way to do something new is to completely throw aside, the conventions of Western tonality and harmony and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think the pursuit of innovation or the pursuit of newness within art at the expense of all else, it's just not for me, I guess. But certainly it's done a lot for movie soundtracks. I'll say that, right? Like now there's certain sounds that are just I guess more palatable, more accepted. That's another whole thing. How multimedia and its relation to how that has kind of found new context and new home for some of these other music styles that, taken maybe independently, are less palatable.
Yeah, I mean, I would largely agree with that. I think Schoenberg was pretty much misunderstood in his time because he was not really like Stravinsky was interested in like what is new, but Schoenberg was not so much interested in what is new. He was very strictly a romantic. He was like pro Beethoven. All that kind of stuff. And the way that the 12-tone rows are arranged in his music very clearly lead the ear to hear, 1, 4, 5, 6, 2, 1. Like they're very, you have to kind of sit with them for a little bit. But once you hear them, it's like, oh, the tone rows are totally set up to suggest, late romantic period voice leading.
Right.
And I think a lot of people misunderstood that as like, oh, serialism is this soulless robotic music that like solves tonality, which of course is, everything out of context and in hindsight is 2020, right? But I think it is interesting that the music that came out kind of as a rebellion against that was minimalism, right? Which I would say minimalism, if anything, has had a greater effect on classical music and film music than 12-tone serialism, probably.
Well, then 12-tone serialism, sure. I mean, 12-tone serialism is just a specific process, right? And I don't know that that's necessarily directly applicable. But I would completely agree with that, because minimalism, generally speaking, is going to be more relatable, I guess, sonically, right? Because minimalism doesn't preclude you from any particular, I don't know, harmonic relationships or anything like that, right? It's based around other things,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oops. Baby. Throw.
Baby throw.
Yeah, we're throwing babies now.
Oh. Hold on, I'm gonna see this, and it is 5:03. Got the MX4, and I'm never looking back. Well, Matthew Hall, that's incredible. I'm really glad you like it. Did you have any other Audeze headphones before that, or was that your first one?
Also, hello, welcome to the Audeze channel where we talk about Grover and Jaron debate, 19 or 20th century music. History.
I honestly, I so barely remember any of that stuff. I did not like that class in college. I was never a big fan of my materials of modern music class, and most of the music.
It's not taught in a very particularly persuasive way, is
well,
it?
and what I would say, and again, like everyone is an individual. I don't mean to suggest that it's impossible for stuff like that to be discussed in a way that isn't like elitist, I guess. But the framework in which I was introduced to that style of music, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to separate that from sort of the elitism that surrounds it.
For sure, it's taught as very complicated, very like Xenakis. The way Xenakis talked about is like, ugh, gross. And if you have a teacher who loves Xenakis, I'm sure that they could find an interesting, fun way for you to get into it. But if they're just like, this is the generative, computer processing, you're just like, this is horrid. I don't think.
Xenakis was the guy who designed that building for, was it the World's Fair, right?
Yeah, he did, and he was a really interesting person. And whatever you think of his music, he was fascinating.
He's a genius.
I'm stuck, so we could probably end the stream.
Probably a good place to stop. Cool.
Anyways,
it'll take another hour to get out of this room.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks to everyone who joined us, and Audeze generally will stream 1 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays, and 3 p.m. Pacific time on Fridays. Sometimes we miss it, but usually we are streaming at those times. And this game is called Little Nightmares 2, for those of you who don't know or who weren't here at the beginning of the stream. Puzzle nightmare game released by Bandai Namco yesterday, I want to say. Jaron Cloud, what is your official title? Marketing director?
Yes.
Okay.
That is it.
Yes, Jaron Cloud, marketing director. Myself, Grover Neville, content guru. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.